Hello, everybody. If you want to read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short Story 654, The Unexpected Confession. Intermediate. Mark and Sarah had a perfect life. They had been happily married for 2 years, and their small, cosy house felt like a sanctuary. Their days were a mix of shared laughter, quiet evenings, and planning for the future. Mark was a graphic designer, and Sarah worked at a local art gallery, a job she adored, or so he thought. One evening, while Sarah was out, Mark went to find a charger for his phone. He opened her bedside cabinet drawer and saw a small ornate box hidden at the back. He knew he shouldn't snoop, but curiosity got the better of him. Inside, he found a collection of expensive-looking necklaces, bracelets, and watches. He recognized a few of them from shops at the local shopping centre, but Sarah had never mentioned buying them. A strange feeling of dread began to wash over him. Then a small folded receipt fell out from under one of the necklaces. It was for a small, cheap item from a discount store. Mark's heart sank as he realised what this all meant. When Sarah came home, her cheerful smile seemed to Mark to be hiding something. He waited until they were sitting in the living room after dinner before he spoke. "Sarah," he started, his voice soft but firm, "can we talk about something?" She looked at him, her eyes wide with a hint of fear. He gently placed the small box on the coffee table. "I found this while looking for my charger. What is it?" Sarah's face went pale. The cheerful smile was gone, replaced by tears that began to stream down her face. She confessed everything. It wasn't just a few items, it was a long-term problem that had started long before they met. The thrill of taking something, of getting away with it, had become an addiction she couldn't control. She explained that she had tried to stop but couldn't, and her shame and guilt had prevented her from ever telling him. Mark was in shock. He was hurt and confused, but his love for her was stronger than his anger. He took her hand. "Sarah," he said, "I love you. We'll get through this together, but you need help." They decided to tackle the problem as a team. The next day they called a specialist counsellor who focused on addictive behaviour. Sarah was terrified, but with Mark by her side, she felt a glimmer of hope. In their sessions, she learned about the root of her behaviour, how it was linked to anxiety and a need for control she felt was missing in other areas of her life. The counsellor gave her strategies to manage the urges, and Mark learned how to be a supportive partner without enabling her. Over the next few months, Sarah had her ups and downs, but with each small victory, she grew stronger. She returned the items she could and donated the rest, a gesture that helped her move forward. The secret was no longer a burden, and their marriage, once based on a lie, became stronger than ever, built on a new foundation of honesty and trust. It was a long journey, but they walked it together, hand in hand, proving that even the most difficult challenges could be overcome with love and support. Vocabulary notes. Sanctuary, meaning a safe, peaceful or protected place. Example, their small, cosy house felt like a sanctuary. Similar words, refuge, haven, shelter. Dread, meaning a feeling of great fear and anxiety about something that might happen. Example, a strange feeling of dread began to wash over him. Similar words, fear, apprehension, terror. Snoop, meaning to secretly look around a private place or look at someone else's private things in an attempt to find out something. Example, he knew he shouldn't snoop, but curiosity got the better of him. Similar words, pry, investigate, nose around. Confess, meaning to admit that you have done something wrong or illegal. Example, she confessed everything. Similar words, admit, reveal, disclose. Burden, meaning a heavy load, either literally or figuratively, like a responsibility or a secret. Example, the secret was no longer a burden. Similar words, weight, load, hardship. Story written by Gemini AI. Image created by Gemini AI. To read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you.
Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to break down a really powerful short story about a couple who seems to have it all, but there's this shocking secret, and it threatens to just tear their whole world apart. So, right off the bat, we get this line: Mark and Sarah had a perfect life. And you just know, right? Whenever a story starts like that, you can feel that something's about to go very, very wrong. That perfection, it's practically begging to be shattered. So let's see how it all unravels. All right, first up is the setup. The story really takes its time painting this picture of Mark and Sarah's life. And honestly, it looks completely unshakable. I mean, look at this. They've been happily married for 2 years. He's a graphic designer. She works in an art gallery. You can just imagine it, right? Shared laughter, quiet evenings in their cozy little house. It's the dream. Everything on the surface just screams stability and happiness. And their house, it's more than just a house, you know? The story calls it a sanctuary, and that word is so important. It's their safe space, a symbol of their peace, and that really hammers home just how much they stand to lose. So, a sanctuary, a safe, peaceful place. It's their haven from all the chaos of the outside world. But the real question the story is asking is, what happens when the biggest danger isn't outside? What happens when it's already inside the walls? Okay, so now we get to the rising action. This is where that perfect little sanctuary starts to crack. And it all starts with something so small. It's just a totally normal evening. Mark needs a phone charger, so he checks Sarah's bedside cabinet. I mean, how many times have we all done something like that? It's completely mundane. But for Mark, this one simple, everyday act is about to change his entire life. So he's looking for the charger, and instead, he finds this hidden box. And you can just feel his hesitation, right? He knows he shouldn't look. He knows it's crossing a line. But that curiosity, man, it just gets the better of him. And that single decision to snoop is what blows this whole thing wide open. And let's be clear, this wasn't an accident. Snooping is an intentional act. It's not like he stumbled upon it. He is actively, deliberately choosing to cross a major boundary here, probably because he has this gut feeling that something just isn't right. So he opens the box, and what's inside is weird. It's just plain confusing. There's all this expensive jewelry, necklaces, watches, bracelets, but then tucked in there with it is a crumpled receipt from a discount store. The two things just don't add up at all. It's like a puzzle where the pieces just don't fit. And right there, you can feel the mood shift. That initial confusion, it starts to turn into something much darker. This isn't just about curiosity anymore. He feels this dread washing over him. It's genuine fear. Yeah, dread is more than just being scared, isn't it? It's that awful, sinking feeling in your stomach when you're anxious about what's about to happen. You can imagine Mark's mind just racing, trying to figure out what this all means, and being absolutely terrified of what the answer might be. And that feeling of dread leads us straight into the climax of the whole story, the confrontation. This is the moment where the truth, no matter how ugly it is finally going to come out. So when Sarah gets home, she's trying to act totally normal, right? She's got this cheerful smile on her face. But Mark, he sees right through it. He can see she's hiding something. He doesn't yell, he just speaks to her in this soft but firm voice, and you see her whole demeanor change. The smile vanishes, her eyes go wide with fear, and then he just places the box on the table right between them. And that's the moment. It's over. There's no more hiding. She just confesses everything. The smile is gone, the tears start, and she breaks down and finally tells him the truth. And to confess something, that's a big deal. It's admitting you've done something wrong, maybe even illegal. This isn't just her saying, sorry, I kept a secret. This is an admission of a huge, long-term problem that strikes at the very heart of their relationship. And the secret itself is just heartbreaking. Turns out, this has nothing to do with him. It's an addiction she's been battling since long before they even met. An addiction to the thrill of taking things. She tried to stop, but she couldn't. And she hid it all because she was just drowning in shame and guilt. So, wow. The secret is out. It's raw, it's painful, it's all in the open. What happens now? Is this the end? Does that perfect life just completely shatter? But then, in this absolutely crucial moment, Mark makes a choice. He's been lied to, he's confused, he's probably hurt, but he chooses love. Instead of walking away, he tells her, I love you. We'll get through this together. He promises they're a team. And these aren't just empty words. They immediately spring into action. They decide they're going to tackle this together. They call a specialist counselor. Sarah starts learning how to manage her urges, and this is so important. Mark learns how to actually be supportive. And finally, Sarah begins the process of returning or donating all the items. This is them taking real, concrete steps forward. And as they started doing the work, something amazing started to happen. The secret was no longer this dark cloud hanging over them. Bringing it into the light, it was no longer a burden. And that's exactly what a burden is, right? It's a heavy load. Sarah had been carrying this massive, figurative weight all by herself for years. Confessing didn't magically make the problem disappear, of course not. But it meant she wasn't carrying that weight alone anymore. It was shared. So that brings us to the resolution. How did this crisis actually end up? Well, it didn't just end their story. It completely transformed it. And here's the really powerful takeaway. Their marriage didn't just survive this. It actually became stronger than ever. That perfect life they had, it was built on a lie. It wasn't real. But what they built together from the wreckage, that was real. It was built on a new foundation of total honesty and genuine trust. So it leaves us with this really interesting question to chew on, doesn't it? What difficult truths can actually end up making relationships stronger? The story seems to say that sometimes you have to go through that painful, devastating process of facing the truth to build something that's actually real and built to last.